Hello and welcome to another lovely Crusader Kings 3 developer diary, and today we are going to be talking about modding. And if any of you have played the wealth of Crusader Kings 2 modded mods, then you'll know that, CK has got quite a very healthy modding community. Personal favorites of mine, of course, stuff like the Historical Immersion Project and the fucking amazing Geheimnisnacht mod. There's also Elder Kings is a really good mod if you like the Elder Scrolls universe. There is the Game of Thrones mods. I always forget which one is which. There's a Song of Ice and Fire mod and a Game of Thrones mod, both of which are done really well. The one kind of just took off and the other one kind of went down a bit. I don't know. I can't remember the difference between the two of them, but there's two. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there's a whole lot of mods, and the modern community is pretty freaking stellar. So, if anything, I can expect modding in CK3 to be just as good. And I already know one of the mods that is going to be in CK3 as well. There is the Bronze Age. So, the guys who made the Bronze Age mod for Imperator Rome are actually moving to the CK3 game to continue their mod, so we're going to have Bronze Age CK3 potentially on release. I'm not sure exactly when they're going to be releasing, but that is seemingly the plan, and yeah, so that's interesting. We'll have to get into this dev diary and see what they have to say about modding. And just a little bit of a disclaimer first and foremost: I am not a modder. I can vaguely read some code through my my background of studying C++ and Java at university, but I'm not a modder, so a lot of things here would go over my head. So if you are a modder and you would like to say anything about this dev diary, then please do leave those in the comment section below. Anyway, let's move in. Hello everyone, and welcome to the 37th Crusader Kings 3 Dev Diary. I'm Matthew, one of the programmers on the CK3 team, and today I'm going to talk to you about the modding in Crusader Kings 3. Mods are something very important to the team, and something especially close to my heart. I got started at Paradox as a content designer due to my modding work on Crusader Kings 2. Yeah, I believe Matthew was on the Game of Thrones team, or the Song of Ice and Fire team. Again, I don't know which one's which, but he did those. Yeah, so being able to make sure the sequel has lots of modding opportunities and trying to give back to the community that aided me in getting into this industry is something I'm very passionate about, and I know others on the team had similar starts in modding as well. We've aimed to make the game a lot more open in terms of what can be achieved in modding. We've got over 80 database object folders, some even with subfolders, a very versatile event system structure, a GUI system that can be fully changed, history files, localization, sound, music, and more. So huge parts of the game can be changed to suit your needs, and this is a bunch of things that you can potentially change. Nice. In the rest of this dev diary, I'll talk less about what you can do overall and more spotlight some things I think modders of CK2 will be excited about, as otherwise this diary would be huge and I need to get back to coding at some point. At its core, our scripting language in Imperator and Crusader Kings 3 is based on an in-house grand strategy library called Gemini, which acts more as a grand strategy game focused layer used on top of our Clausewitz engine. When Imperator released, I posted a lot of information about the things that come directly from Gemini and which are shared between both games, so I would recommend checking my Grand Gemini modding information manuscript thread if you're an interested modder. If you'd like to know more about event scripting, then that dev diary is good. Feel free to... That's the one I didn't actually do a video for because, again, not a modder. There's a lot of just mod stuff in there, scripty stuff, and it just kind of went over my head. Before I go further, though, I will say as well, Imperator modding, it's had a bit of a rocky time based mostly on the fact that UI mods, like the absolutely phenomenal Agamedes Better UI, don't allow you to still get achievements and play, with achievement unlocked Iron Maniness, based on the fact that the UI layer in Imperator, and I guess probably in CK3 as well, is a lot more powerful. You can do more with it, and as such, it's then locked to being, you can't modify it and still get achievements. So there's pros and cons. It's more powerful, but at the same time, it breaks achievement ready status. And there's a lot of minor mods that change the UI in useful but not like game-breaking ways that should be, in my opinion, fully compatible with getting achievements. UI mods in EU4 and CK2 are always compatible with that, and it's a shame that the Gemini layer breaks that. But at the same time, it also gives you more powerful tools to work with, so it's a bit of a trade-off, But anyway, move on to character interactions. To focus more on the game level things, one of the biggest things changed from CK2 is the character interactions. For a brief history lesson in CK2 modding, most of these core interactions were hard-coded, things like arranging marriages, declaring war alliances, etc. It was only after quite a few patches that the ability to add custom targeted decisions was introduced, and it's worth noting that it was only the ability to add or modify those targeting decisions, the older hard-coded core interactions, were still not particularly moddable. For CK3, we wanted to open up all of that to go through one unified character interaction system, so every action goes through our script system now. This gives many benefits. With script being able to change it, we can now change weights for the AI's use of these actions with just a few text file changes instead of needing code time. We can change who can do them and what people are considered good matches, etc. And of course that opens it up for modders as well. The AI can be scripted to use all these custom interactions and tell them who's a good target, as well as how often they should evaluate it, which is important for performance. There's still some hard-coded links with interactions, specifically when it's an interaction that's needed to be used by the AI in a non-trivial manner. These interactions are all marked clearly though, so if you attempt to remove them, then the game will give you a warning when loading that it really needs this interaction, so put it back please. This behavior, in fact, applies to almost all hard-coded database objects, and not just those which are interactions. For reference, here's the full list of all interactions that use impact and stuff. So we can show that on the forums in just a moment. Again, though, I'm not a modder, so it's kind of useless for me personally to comb through them, I guess. But we will when we go to the forums and check the comments from the developer. We'll go and check that out. So, combining mods. Combining multiple mods together has always been a bit tricky, but I wanted to try and make some gains with compatibility so that it doesn't require as many manual patches. To aid in this a bit, I've made it so database entries can be overridden by key even if that new entry is in a different file. This means if you want to override what the lunatic trait does, then instead of needing to copy the entire traits file just to change one entry, you can just make your own file containing your new definition of what the lunatic trait does, such as giving it a boost in learning, prowess, and attraction opinion like I have done below. Nice. So it's just lunatic override.txt he's called it. Everyone loves the lunatic. Yeah, sure. Highly event-driven schizophrenia. Alright, nice. This also applies to files from other mods as long as yours is loaded first. So you can overwrite traits and other database elements from other mods. That's really, really interesting. That's super powerful. It's going to cause a lot less conflicts, which is really nice. Because, I mean, anyone who's played, well, especially Stellaris, you tend to put quite a few mods in the same game and just run it and see if it breaks or works. Having the ability to do that with CK3 without, needing your compatibility mods all the time is going to be really, really nice. Currently, we do not support appending to a definition instead of fully overwriting, as we need to rework a good chunk of things and test it extensively, though it is something I'm keeping in mind for the future. Lovely. As I mentioned in Dev Diary 16, tutorials and tooltips and encyclopedia, all the new interface utilities we have for explaining the game are moddable, which means you can add, remove, and modify any of these things through script instead of them being hard-coded like in CK2. I'll start with the notifications and toasts, as they are the simplest. You simply make a database entry in the common folder for your notification, and then wherever you want to run it from, you use the send interface message or send interface toast effect. Those effects take the type of message as well as optional overrides for the title and text instead of using what was scripted in the database. They also take any number of effects to run, which will then be included as text when displayed, though it is often recommended to use a custom tooltip instead of bloating the message with a lot of mechanical text. For alerts, advice, and current issues, they all go through the same important action system. The core difference being between them is what type they are specified to use, which controls their visual appearance and location. These important actions have a check, create action, and effect block. Both run interface effects, specifically marked effects that do not modify the game state across MP, but also local UI things, to see if they can be created and what to do when clicked. The main interface effect to run in check create action will be the try create important action, which attempts to create a UI element for this action type and will usually be behind an if check. In the words, God, code makes me like trip over my tongue. In the effect block for when the UI element is clicked, there is a couple of things which are a good idea to run. If it's a piece of reactive advice, then use the start tutorial lesson is a great idea. And for alerts or issues, use the open view data effect is the way to go to open the window that can help address whatever is causing the alert or issue. Very nice. I'm a cool alert. You should probably check me out. All right, cool. Note, while making this dev diary, I actually found out that in 1.0, adding a custom icon like you see via mod is not actually functional. It's already been fixed for 1.1, but I thought I should note that here quickly for people coming back to this dev diary to tell me off when it doesn't work right away. Alright, that makes me think that Seikei 3 is already finished being made, which makes sense. There's only 20 days left, and as we've heard many times before, there is a release candidate version that's like locked in like a month before release, and then they work on the fixes and stuff in that month, and then that's the first patch. I think that is actually what is being confirmed here, that the 1.0 version, the release version, is already locked in and done. And that is like what they've got now is what is going to be released to the public. Alright, there's something broken in it, but it's fixed for 1.1. The suggestions are similar to the important actions, but also have fields for the weight, which checks how important the suggestion is to the player, and a score, which checks which potential target of a suggestion is best. For example, in the fabricate claim suggestion, the weight is based off on whether there is anything nearby you could fabricate on, how many claims you already have, and if you are already fabricating a claim. The score for which title to suggest you fabricate is based on a much larger list of values, such as the development level of a county, how easy it'll probably be to conquer, if you share a faith or culture, etc. So, on to scripted GUIs. Like with Imperator, the interface is incredibly moddable. The GUI scripting language, whilst different from the normal database and event script, is still very versatile and lets you change both the appearance and positioning and full functionality of almost all the GUI elements in the game. We also have a GUI debug mode in-game, which allows viewing through the hierarchy and opening the file in a line where elements are defined, which makes working with the interface a lot easier. Currently, we do not support creating your own new window GUIs, though it is on my never-ending to-do list. But the easy work around there is just to make them as children of the main HUD window, which is always shown, and then you can have anything. As is listed briefly in the Gemini modding info I linked, it's possible to make scripted GUIs, which allow a link to exist between the GUI system to the normal script system, so you can test for if different triggers evaluate true or false and run effects in the game state safely across multiplayer. Very excited to see what people end up doing with this, especially as there should be hopefully a massive reduction in the number of hacks needed to display information now that real interfaces can be made for mods to show things about the unique mechanics. That's real nice. I'm looking forward to that. Very much so. As I said, I love mods. What goes into making a mod, I just know is, magic and sweat, and also possibly blood and tears, but mostly magic. And I love playing with mods. So anything that is, we're trying to make this game from the off way more modder friendly. I'm totally down for that. So there's a skull button. You can press it for fun, and things happen. And once you press it for fun, character faith and stuff, you press for fun. Is adult yet? Oh, okay, I should probably skip. Press for fun if they're an adult. Okay, gotcha. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I know this diary may be more niche appeal. Yeah, I think probably, yeah. But I do know there are some modders that do follow my channel, so that's nice. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this dev diary. Those of you looking for more gameplay, then make sure to tune in for our next gameplay stream. I will indeed do that. Right, let's move on to the forums, where we can see that here are some of the is a full list of the options, interactions that can, all that stuff. And if you want to know all of these, I mean, firstly, just go on the forums and look yourself. But secondly, you can also post a video and have a look at these. Very few of these mean much at all to me, so There's a lot. This, I guess, just there's a lot. Sure. All right, but let's move on to the comments. So, I'll take a guess and say that marriage is still mostly hard-coded. Not really. That's good. Less hard-coded things, the better, I think. It's one of those ones, if you remove, the game will yell at you for it, but it's mostly decided in script who can marry who, the various extra effects of interaction, who the AI can and prefers to marry, etc. Alright, well, you know, I don't know if that's different from CK2, honestly. I can't remember how moddable marriage was in that. But, yeah, we'll see. Will there be an on-action that triggers at the start of pregnancy instead of when the trait shows up, or any way of altering the unborn segment? Try to make a mod to make more fertile and tall, etc. characters have more twins in CK2, but couldn't find a method that worked. There's not one for the start of pregnancy, I don't think. We have one for the mother and father when the pregnancy is revealed, which add the trait. We do have effects to modify the unborn character, though, such as setting if they are a known bastard, changing the assumed father, and setting the number of children. Alright. What about mods changing localization files, like improved localizations for other languages? Will they affect checksum? Localization and GUI still affects the checksum. Ah, wow, I had no idea that localization affected the checksum. That really sucks. So for anyone who's playing from China and wants to play CK3 with the Chinese language, or Hungarian is one that I saw today, confirmed that isn't going to be at release. If you want to play the game in Hungarian and some mad lad makes a mod for you to, you know, play the game in Hungarian, you're not going to be able to, you know, get achievements in that. Which, I mean, it sucks for you if you like getting achievements. It really does. But I suppose there's only so many hours in the day for these guys to code, and, you know, finding a Hungarian guy and then hiring him to do all the localization for however many lines of shit there is to, you know, localize. It's a task. It certainly is a task. Alright. As a modder too, I really like this dev diary. Thank you. However, I'd like to ask 2 questions. About the localizations, the game will handle it in the landed title folder just like CK2, or in a similar way like in EU4. Not sure what you mean with that question. Fair enough. How can the game handle special characters like those ones? We should be able to display those just fine. Nice. I think it's already been confirmed that the full what's the list of characters called? That list, I think that's already all, you know, happy and used and stuff. So maybe you'll be able to call your kid some kind of emoji, because those are apparently in it. How will map modding work? Similar split of files like CK2 did with various map, province, and history folders containing the files to change, not a handful of massive CSV files like Imperator has. Alright. That's interesting that they're going with the CK2 version rather than the Imperator version. But fair enough, if that's better, then that's better. But yeah, that's the dev diary, folks. All about modding and mods and modding and stuff, which is absolutely awesome. A couple of other things to make you all aware of. First of all, I will say that it has been confirmed that the ruler designer, while not in on release, will be released later as a DLC that will be free for everyone. It'll be a free update, and you'll be able to get the ruler designer, which is fantastic. It was a paid feature in CK2. Also wasn't on release, it was a DLC later on. The fact that they're putting it in, you know, for free, that's great. It's probably one of... It was the thing that disappointed me the most when I realized that it wasn't going to be in. Purely because when I play CK2, I think like 95% of all of my games have used a custom character. Like, for example, when I play in Italy, I will create a custom character with the surname Lamberti. If I'm in Germany, I'll be Lambrecht, etc. Just, you know, changing my surname Lambert into something more localized for the region. So having the ruler designer, kind of important for me. Like, it's a roleplay game. I want to put myself in their shoes. I want to be in the game. I want my dynasty to be in the game. That's kind of important to me. So seeing that will be in is fantastic. Very happy with that. Secondly, you guys should all go and check out One Proud Bavarian's introducing CK3 videos. One Proud Bavarian does the same kind of thing as me with these dev diary videos. He's done really well, and he's got sponsored by Paradox to do videos on some various things in the game, and that's pretty cool. Absolutely happy for him for that. So you should go and check those out. And finally, today there was released another little sponsorship that Paradox are doing, and that is with one of my top 3 favorite channels on YouTube, Kings and Generals, who are now doing videos basically looking at the date in which CK3 is going to be played in. So 867 is also the 1066 start date, and they're going to go through and just point out the various interesting points on the map. They've released the 867 video, and it's fucking phenomenal, as per usual with Kings and Generals. They're just amazing. So you should go and check that out, because it's pretty damn cool. Now, that's all the news and stuff out of the way. So, modding Dev Diary. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a modder, what kind of mods are you going to be working on? If you're a player, what kind of mods do you want to be worked on? Because what do you want to play? What are you excited for? For me, Geheimnisnacht 2 is going to be like what I'm looking for. I loved Geheimnisnacht 1, and I can't wait to see 3D models of, the Warhammer races. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So that's what I'm mostly looking forward to. I'd love to know what you guys are looking forward to. So leave those in the comment section below. If you want to support the channel, the best way is obviously clicking the like button, hitting subscribe if you haven't, writing a comment's always good as well. If you want to, I've also got a Patreon page that you can support me on. Link to that is in the description. And yeah, that is me done for today. So thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this Dev Diary video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.